Hello and welcome you all again on this platform of KTHM e-learning. Friends, in the earlier lecture we have discussed the introduction and approach of bank audit. After that we have studied the salient features and steps of bank audit, and now in this lecture we are going to study checking of assets and liabilities of banks. Then we will understand the audit report of banks. Now, let's see the first point, that is checking of assets and liabilities or audit of assets and liabilities. Friends, banking is a dynamic activity. Therefore, banks are different from most other commercial enterprises. Nowadays, banking has constantly been undergone a change. Chartered accountants are expected to carry out the bank branch audit in the shortest possible time. Hence, a checking of assets and liabilities or audit of assets and liabilities of a bank is explained in 4 points. So, the first point is bank assets, second is bank liabilities, third one is audit procedures, and last is scrutiny of profit and loss account. So, let's study one by one points. So, the first we are going to understand, that is checking of bank assets. Friends, what a bank owns, including loans, reserves, investment securities, and physical assets. Bank assets are typically listed on the left hand side of bank's balance sheet. Bank liability, what a bank owes, are listed on the right hand side of bank's balance sheet. Net worth is the difference between assets and liabilities. The largest asset category of most banks is loans, which generates interest revenue. A critical asset category used to maintain the safety of deposits is reserves. Then the bulk of banks' assets are financially legal claims on the property or the wealth of others. The two most notable asset categories are loans and reserves. The bank asset has four main categories of assets listed on the balance sheet at the right hand side. So the first is physical assets. Friends, this includes the buildings, lands, furniture, and equipment owned by the bank. While this is what most people probably think of as asset, it is a relatively minor for most banks. Second item is loans. The second asset category or second item of asset is the most important one for all banks is loans. Loans are the primary source of interest revenue. While a loan is a liability for the borrower, it is an asset for the bank, for the lender. This asset includes loans to consumers, then home loans, personal loans, automobile loans, credit card loans, and business or real estate development loans and capital investment loans. Then third item of checking of bank asset is reserves. While this is small in account, it is extremely important. Reserves are what banks use for daily transactions such as processing checks or satisfying cash withdrawals. Banks use reserve to ensure the security of deposits. Two varieties of reserves worth noting are vault cash, that means the actual proper currency and coins that is kept in the bank, that is in the vault, and Federal Reserve deposit, that means deposits that banks keep with the Federal Reserve System to clear checks and assist in the other banking activities. And last item is investment security, that is the fourth asset category of bank asset. This act as a buffer between loans and reserves. They are safer than loans but not as safe as reserves. They pay more interest than reserves but not as much as loans. If a bank has few extra reserves but is not ready to lock in loans for the long term, then investment security are the answer. Now let's see the second point is checking of bank liability. Friends, what a bank owes, including most notably customer deposits, bank liabilities are typically listed on the right hand side of the bank's balance sheet. Bank asset, what a bank owns, are listed on the left hand side of the bank's balance sheet. Net worth is difference between assets and liabilities. The most important liability category of most banks is checkable deposits, which is part of the economy's M1, means money supply. The largest liability category includes other types of deposits, that means especially saving deposits, certificates of deposit and money market deposits that enter into the M2 and M3 monetary aggregates. In these liabilities, there are three items are given. So the first is transactions deposits. The most important liability is transactions deposits. This, of course, is a technical name for checking accounts or checkable deposits. Make note that while checking accounts are assets for customers, they are liabilities. For example, ABC Bank. ABC Banks owes these deposit to customer. Transaction deposit deserve a separate listing in the balance sheet because they are part of the M1 money supply. Second item of bank liabilities, other types of deposits. As a full service bank, for example, ABC Bank has other types of deposit to ABC Bank offers saving accounts, certificates of deposit, money market deposit, repurchase agreements and a host of other accounts that find their way into the M2 and M3 monetary aggregates. And last liability is other liabilities. Friends, most banks also have a few other liabilities. Specifically, for example, ABC Bank might borrow from source other than typical household and business customers that provide deposit. Two common sources of funds are federal funds loans and Federal Reserve loans. Now, third point is audit procedure. The audit procedure for checking of bank assets and liabilities are explained in some points. First point is cash. The auditor should count the balance of cash on hand. As far as possible, the auditor should visit the branch at the close of business on the last working day of the year or before the commencement of business on the next day for carrying out the physical verification of cash. If for any reason the auditor is unable to do so, he should carry out the physical verification of cash as close to the balance sheet date as possible. It is sometimes arranged by the branch to deposit a large portion of its cash balance with the Reserve Bank of India or the State Bank of India or any other bank on the closing day, in which case the work of the auditor is reduced substantially. The cash balance as physically verified should be agreed with the balances shown in the cash book and the cash balance book. When the physical verification of cash is carried out by the auditor before or after the date of the balance sheet, the auditor should work forward or backward to reconcile the results of his verification with the cash balance at the balance sheet date as shown by the books. Then second is balance with Reserve Bank of India. In a bank, only a few select branches are designated to have account with the Reserve Bank. Thus, this item would not appear in the balance sheet of every branch. The following some procedures are therefore applicable only the branches having account with the Reserve Bank of India. In that, cash transactions remaining unresponded. Second is revenue item requiring adjustments or write-off. And third is old outstanding balances remaining unexplained or unadjusted for over 1 year. Obtain a written explanation from the management as to the reasons for old outstanding transactions in bank reconciliation statements remaining unexplained or unadjusted for over a 1 year. Third is balance with banks. Apart from the procedure described above, in examining the balances with banks other than Reserve Bank, while reviewing the reconciliation statement, the auditor should pay particular attention to the some points. First is examine that no debit for charges or credit for interest is outstanding and all the items which ought to have been taken to revenue for the year have been so taken. Second is examine that no check sent or received in clearing in outstanding. And third is examine that all bills or outstanding checks sent for collection and outstanding as on the closing date have been credited subsequently. The balances with banks outside India should also be verified in the manner described above. These balances should be converted into the Indian currency at the exchange rates prevailing on the balance sheet date. And last is money at call and short notice. The auditor should examine whether there is a proper authorization, general or specific, for lending of the money at call or short notice, compliances with the instruction or guidelines laid down in the behalf by the head office or controlling office of the branch, including the limits on lending in interbank call money market should also be examined. And last is scrutiny of profit and loss. And last is scrutiny of profit and loss account. In that, it includes the examination or audit of income and expenditure. In that, first point is income by way of interest or discount. Again, in that first point, nature of income and its treatment. Friends, the bank earns income by way of interest on loan and advances, discount on bills, and the interest on money kept with RBI or other banks. Advances by a bank may be by way of cash credits or of overdrafts, bill purchased and discounted, and terms loans. The auditor should ascertain whether there is a proper accounting of each income. Recognition of income in respect of non-performing assets should take place only after its realization. Then second is calculation of income and its appointment. The auditor should see whether interest calculation is as per the relevant agreement and made up to the date of the balance sheet. There should also be proper appointment of discount on outstanding bills over the current and the following year. And last point of income by way of interest or discount is treatment of interest subsidy from RBI. The auditor should ascertain proper computation and disclosure of interest subsidy from RBI in respect of concession rate advances to priority sector. Second point is other business income. In that, first is commission, brokerage, etc. The auditor should ascertain proper accounting of other income by way of commission and brokerage on bills for collection, demand drafts, telegraphic transfers, letter of credit, government, businesses, locker rents, etc. If RBI guidelines prohibit recognition of interest income from a non-performing asset, the same provision should apply to income by way of fees, commission or other income from such asset. In the case such income finds mention in the financial statements, there should be reversal entries passed in respect of the same. Second is profit on sale of investment. The auditor should ascertain such income based on brokers' notes, title documents, etc. The profit should be net figure after adjustment of any loss on sale of investment during the accounting year. Third point of other business income is profit on revaluation of assets. The auditor should see that there is a upward revaluation of only those assets that have been written down cost in earlier years. The amount of write-up in the cost will be profit and stand transferred to the capital reserve account. Next is profit on sale of fixed asset. The auditor should see that the treatment of profit arising from sale of assets such as land, building, vehicles, gold, etc. is in accordance with Accounting Standard 10, that is accounting for fixed assets. According to Accounting Standard 10, there should be credit of such profit to the revaluation reserve, and only the excess of such credit over debit from revaluation carried out in earlier years should be profit shown in profit and loss account. And last is miscellaneous income. The auditor should examine miscellaneous income such as rent from house property, go downs, insurance charges, farm customers, etc. If such income exceeds 1% of the total income of the bank, notes should contain particulars of the same. Now let's move to the next main point is audit report of banks. In that, first is in the case of banking companies and second is in the case of nationalized banks. Friends, the bank auditor has to make his report directly to the bank. The contents of the auditor's report in the case of different types of banks are somewhat different. The report of the auditor of nationalized bank is to be verified, signed and transmitted to the central government. The auditor has also to forward a copy of the audit report to the bank concerned and RBI in addition to the matters which the auditor is required to state in his report. Under the Companies Act, the auditor of a bank has also to state following in this report. First is in the case of banking companies. The auditor should include in his report in the following some points, that first is whether or not the information and explanation required by him have been included to be satisfactory. Second, is in the case of banking company, whether or not the transactions of the company which have come to the notice have been within the powers of the company. Third is whether or not the returns received from the branches of the company have been found adequate for the purposes of his audit. And fourth is whether the profit and loss account shows a true balance of profit or loss for the period covered by such account. And last is any other matter which he considered should be brought to the notice of the shareholder of the company. Then in the case of nationalized bank, the auditor of a nationalized bank, State Bank of India or its subsidiary is required to the report to the central government and has to the state. The following some points are in his reports. First is whether in his opinion the balance sheet is a full and fair balance sheet containing all the necessary particulars and properly drawn up so as to exhibit a true and fair view of the affairs of the bank, and in case he had called for any explanation of information, whether it has been given and whether it is satisfactory. Second is whether or not the transactions of the bank which has come to his notice have been within the powers of the company. Third is whether or not the returns received from the offices and branches of the banks have been found adequate for the purpose of his audit. Next is whether the profit and loss account shows a true balance of profit or loss for the period covered by such account. And last is any other matter which the considers should be brought to the notice of the central government. Here we are going to stop. Thank you.